Your strengths drive everything you think, everything you feel, and everything you do, from the minute you wake up to the minute you go to bed. Now, here's what I like to tell people. I think the process of becoming more aware of and intentional about our strengths is a process of moving from our strengths driving me to me starting to drive and control my strengths. So you no longer become the object of your strengths, you become the subject of your strengths. You become the person who is truly in possession of your strengths. Before you did these things out of natural tendency. Now that you know what that lens is that you see this whole world through, you can start to be more intentional about how you adjust that lens. Does that make sense? So that's why it's so important for you to know your own and for you to know one another's, so that we can all help one another adjust that lens of strength through which we see the world. All right, so that said, talk to me about this. What did you learn, something you learned personally about yourself? What was a revelation to you when you learned about strengths? Anyone? I'm going to challenge you to start to have more serious and fruitful strengths conversations with your coworkers. And here's why. The business guru Peter Drucker tells us that most people think they know what they are good at, but they're usually wrong. So we are not all as self-reflective as we should be. So we don't always know what we're good at, and it takes the village, it takes the community, it takes all of your teams to help you understand what you're good at. Part of that is the bad rap that boasting gets on a team. None of us wants to be boastful. I'm sure Caitlin talked to you about this the last time, that when you boast, you seem prideful. But when you talk positively about the good things that you're able to do in a strengths culture, you're not boasting. You're just giving information to people so they can use it when that information is needed on a team. Do you see the difference? So there are two things that have to happen. One, you have to yourselves start talking more positively about what you think you're good at and let people sharpen that for you, so that you become more knowledgeable about it. But number two, start to tell other people what they're good at, because oftentimes they don't see it. So we say something like, Steve, I think you're awesome at harmony. You don't avoid conflict, but you work through it all the time so that you get to a peaceable end. That's a mature expression of harmony. So that's telling Steve that you see that in action, that's very, very apparent to you in action. My husband has harmony's in my very bottom. And I raised 4 daughters, so that didn't go real well with me. But because my husband had harmony as number 2, it went great for us, because he could balance out what I wasn't really very intentional about. Do you see what I'm saying? So, all right, so Steve would be a good person if there is or who else has harmony? There's a lot of people here who have harmony. That was one of your big ones. Okay, so those people who have harmony, they're the ones you go to when you have an issue that involves requires a soft touch, and maybe you don't have a soft touch. I don't have a soft touch usually when it comes to confrontation, all right? So I can be kind of prickly. So I need to get somebody who has harmony, AKA my husband. I often use him to help me to tone it down so somebody can perceive me better. So it's good to know who has harmony here, right? Who has all 34 of their strengths? Does anybody else besides me have it in their very lowest harmony? No. You do too? You need Steve. Yeah. Okay, so here's what I don't know why you're all laughing. I'm gonna let you have that personal, private joke among yourselves. Here's what we're going to explore this afternoon. We're going to talk about strengths, domains of strengths, and you and your team. We're going to talk about what is a powerful team. What makes a powerful team? And what is a powerful partnership? And then some self-reflection, how you can apply your strengths to your work in your company, okay? I hated the month of February. For 22 years, I hated the month of February because I had to create a budget for a very large department during the month of February and have it ready on March 1st. And I would sit in my little office and I would stew, and I hated February because I was not good at that. I don't have the skills, the talents, the strengths to do that. I'm not analytical. What should I have done? I should have said, who's good at this? Who likes to do this? Can I have an hour of your time? Could you help me to figure this out? I wasted so much time stewing in my office rather than going to a person who could help me, who likes to do budgets. Don't ask me why, but they like to do budgets and could help me and get the whole thing done in 3 days rather than stew for a month over. Do you see what I'm saying? I wasted my time, company time, emotional time, psychological time. It was ridiculous of me until I learned about strengths and learned that there's somebody here who can help me. It's logical, isn't it? But that's what you do at a staff meeting or at a team meeting. What do you need to do? What are the strengths that are needed? How can we help you? Who has that strength?